I'm Missy Ballew. I am the Chief Human Resources Officer at Lookout, and I'm here at the conference today to be able to support friends who are speaking from the PeopleTech partners, and also just to be able to network and learn more myself. I'm an advisor, so I go to the demos, provide feedback on the different products, the different technologies, work with some of the founders on advisorships and things to be able to give just ideas for them to be able to bounce ideas off of me from kind of a larger company perspective where I've been before, but then also from the smaller company perspective and what that means as me as a client, but then also just ideas that I might have to bring to the table to them. It's a community of HR leaders who come together, all different backgrounds, whether it's, like I said, larger companies, smaller companies, different industries, who come together to be able to challenge each other, ask questions, learn from each other, be supportive, great community of people who become friends, but then also go outside externally to be able to advise on the future of HR. So the technologies that are going to be coming available that help us in our craft and what we do, but then also help companies as they help they in the future be able to create the culture that they want. I think some of the challenges is scale. So in a startup for us, we're in about 10 different countries right now, going into 5 more countries this year. I don't have a ton of HR team members who can support all of that to be able to scale the culture that I would want for the experience we want to create. So to be able to have other people who have either gone through that experience, that's great to be able to bounce ideas off of them, but then also looking into the different technologies and things that are there, new ideas to be able to enable us to do that has been super helpful. And not just to be able to scale operationally, but also the innovation and everything that it brings for us to be able to spread that globally has been extremely helpful. Being able to bring different technologies and different founders and different ideas and the thought leadership helps just spark the creativity for myself, but then also for my team. And so that's helped just that. So coming up with the ideas, being able to work internally with my team on that, also pulling in other people from PeopleTech partners. But then it's, okay, so once it goes from the idea stage and what we could do, how do we build that into the way that we actually operate and scale? How do we get buy-in from the business leaders and from my CEO or the other people internationally in other countries to say, does that make sense, or is that really U.S.-centric? So having the availability of not just the HR team members, but then also that I have on my team, but also the external perspective of people who have done that before has been really, really invaluable. We just had a kickoff call where everybody got together, a meeting where everybody got together the other day to talk about what's coming for 2019, which is really helpful. The demos that we have themselves, it's an opportunity for us to be able to get together. We have the founders who come in from different companies. It could be analytics company, it could be wellness, it could be fertility, all different varieties, but going in, listening, being on webcam, asking questions, but in a small groups, which makes it nice, so it's more of a dialogue and discussion. So it's doing that, but then offline it might just be you meet people through PeopleTech and you may just say, hey, I've got this thing going on, I'd love to get your perspective. So a lot of informal conversations as well. And then we have regular get-togethers and dinners or events like this where we find out, or HR Transform that comes up. So other more formal conferences and opportunities to be able to network and get together too. When it comes to scaling culture internationally, is the systems can help, but you have to be careful about the programs and when you design them, so it doesn't just fall right to the technology. And there are certain companies who, when it comes to wellness, and I think about mental health as an example, where it's really helpful to be able to talk with the founders and get their perspective on what actually applies in the U.S. versus Toronto versus Amsterdam or the UK. So how do you think about that, and how do you establish kind of small, quick wins early on in certain places, even beyond the employment law and the cultural differences? But how do you, one, use the technology to be able to give access, but then how do you also increase the adoption with that? So that's been one of the things we've been looking into that I think has been beneficial for us on how do we scale globally, some of the different solutions that we have, but then also make sure that they're still relevant.